Dr. Lisa Carter stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around the massive space station. The walls glowed with soft blue light, and strange symbols floated in the air like tiny dancing stars. She had never seen anything like it before. This was Kepler Station, the most famous medical school in the galaxy. Lisa carried a simple black bag in her right hand. Inside were the tools she used every day back on Earth: scalpels, bandages, needles, and medicines that had saved thousands of lives. She wore her white doctor coat over simple blue clothes. Her brown hair was tied back in a neat ponytail. A tall figure approached her. It looked like it was made of living crystal, with light flowing through its body like water. The creature spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. "You must be the human doctor," it said. "I am Professor Valkyrie. Welcome to our medical academy." Lisa smiled and extended her hand for a handshake. The crystal being looked at her hand with confusion. After a moment, it touched her palm with one of its glowing fingers. "Thank you for having me," Lisa said. "I'm excited to share what we know about medicine on Earth." Professor Valkyrie led her through long hallways filled with floating platforms and glowing screens. Students from different worlds walked past them. Some looked like giant insects with many arms. Others appeared to be made of water that somehow held its shape. A few seemed to be pure energy, glowing and shifting as they moved. "Your students are so different from each other," Lisa observed. "Yes," Professor Valkyrie replied. "Each species has developed its own way of healing. The Zephyrians use sound waves to repair damaged tissue. The Velthans can change the chemistry of living cells with their biolight. The Karathi release special chemicals that make bodies heal faster. And the Nexari can reshape living matter with their minds." They entered a huge circular room with seats arranged in rising circles. About 50 alien students sat waiting. Lisa could feel their eyes on her as she walked to the center of the room. Some of them were whispering to each other. "Students," Professor Valkyrie announced, "this is Dr. Lisa Carter from the planet Earth. She will be teaching you about human medical practices for the next few weeks." A student that looked like a tall praying mantis raised one of its arms. "Professor, why are we learning from a Deathworlder? Humans come from one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. How could they possibly know advanced medicine?" Lisa heard several students make sounds that might have been laughter. She took a deep breath and smiled. "That's a good question," she said. "You're right that Earth is a dangerous place. We have diseases, accidents, violence, and natural disasters. But maybe that's exactly why we learn to be good at fixing broken things." An aquatic student that glowed with soft green light spoke up. "But we have technology that can heal without causing pain or damage. Why would anyone cut into a living body when you can use energy to repair it? Sometimes the old ways work better than the new ways," Lisa replied. "Let me show you what I mean." She opened her medical bag and pulled out a simple stethoscope. The alien students leaned forward to look at the strange device. "This tool is over 200 years old," Lisa explained. "It lets me listen to what's happening inside a patient's body. No power source, no complex technology. Just a way to hear the heart and lungs." She placed the stethoscope on her own chest and listened for a moment. Then she offered it to the crystal student sitting closest to her. "Would you like to try?" The Zephyrian student, named Zelther, carefully took the stethoscope. His crystal fingers weren't designed for human tools, but he managed to hold it. He pressed the round end against Lisa's chest and put the other end near where his ears might be. His whole body suddenly flashed with bright light. "I can hear her life force," he said with wonder. "It's so simple, but I can actually hear her heart beating." Other students began to murmur with interest. Lisa smiled and pulled out more tools from her bag. "This is a thermometer," she said. holding up a small device. It tells us if someone has a fever. This is a blood pressure cuff. It shows us how hard the heart is working. And these are pills that can stop pain or fight infection. A student that looked like a jellyfish floating in a water suit spoke up. These tools are so basic. Our medical scanners can detect thousands of different health problems in seconds. Why would you use such simple things? Because simple things work when complex things fail, Lisa answered. When there's no power, no computers, no fancy equipment, these basic tools still save lives. On Earth, we learned that the best medicine isn't always the most advanced medicine. An insect-like student named Crickstall clicked his mandibles together. But surely you don't still perform surgery by hand. That would be barbaric. Lisa's expression became serious. We do perform surgery by hand. Every day. We open people up, fix what's broken inside, and sew them back together. It saves millions of lives every year. The room fell silent. Several students looked shocked. Others seemed disgusted. You cut into living beings? Whispered Aquilin, the aquatic student. When we have to, Lisa said calmly. If someone's heart stops working, we can replace it with a heart from another person. If someone breaks a bone, we can put metal pins inside to hold it together. If someone has a tumor, we can remove it by cutting it out. That sounds like torture, said Zelther, his crystal body dimming with distress. It would be torture if we didn't help them, Lisa replied. We use medicines to stop pain during surgery. We're very careful to keep everything clean so infections don't start. And we only do surgery when it's the best way to save someone's life. Professor Valkari stepped forward. Perhaps Dr. Carter could demonstrate some of her techniques? Lisa nodded. I'd be happy to. But first, let me ask you something. What do you do when all your advanced technology fails? When your energy healing doesn't work? When your sound therapy and biolight can't fix the problem? The students looked at each other uncertainly. None of them had a good answer. That's when you need to know how to use your hands, Lisa said. That's when you need simple tools that always work. That's when you need to think like a human doctor. She looked around the room at all the alien faces staring at her. Some looked curious now, instead of dismissive. Others still seemed skeptical. I know my methods might seem primitive to you, Lisa continued, but they've been tested on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. They work when everything else fails. And maybe, just maybe, that's something worth learning. The room was quiet except for the soft humming of the station's life support systems. Professor Valkari finally spoke. We will begin with basic demonstrations tomorrow. Class dismissed. As the students filed out, Lisa heard them talking excitedly to each other in their various languages. Some sounded interested. Others sounded worried. A few sounded like they were making jokes. Lisa packed her simple tools back into her black bag and smiled. Tomorrow would be interesting indeed. Lisa stood in front of the alien students the next morning. She had prepared a simple demonstration about checking a patient's pulse, when suddenly loud alarms began ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. A voice spoke, in the station's main language, which Lisa's translator converted to English. Medical emergency in Section 7. All available doctors report immediately. Professor Valkari's crystal body began glowing brighter. Students, remain here. This is not a drill. But before anyone could move, the door burst open. 2 maintenance workers carried in another being between them. It was an Ixari, one of the energy creatures that looked like a person made of bright light. But this one was flickering and fading like a broken lamp. What happened? Professor Valkari rushed over to help. Luminar was fixing the power conduit in Section 7, one of the workers explained. There was an explosion. The energy feedback hit him directly. Lisa could see the injured Nexari was in bad shape. Parts of his energy body were missing completely. Other parts sparked and crackled like damaged electrical wires. He was trying to speak, but only static came out. The alien students immediately sprang into action. Zelther began making high-pitched singing sounds, trying to heal with sound waves. Aquilin activated her bioluminescent healing lights. Krikstal released healing pheromones into the air. Other students used their species' advanced medical techniques. Professor Valkari moved his hands over the patient, using his crystal structure to channel healing energy. The most advanced medical scanners in the galaxy began analyzing Luminar's condition. For several minutes, they worked with impressive coordination. Lisa watched as they used technology and healing methods that Earth couldn't even dream of. But something was wrong. Despite all their efforts, the patient was getting worse, not better. His energy matrix is collapsing, Professor Valkari said with worry in his voice. The damage is too severe. Our healing methods can't reach the core disruption. What about the bioregeneration chamber? Asked Aquilin. It won't work, Zeltha replied, his crystal body dimming. The energy patterns are too chaotic. We need to stabilize him first, but we don't know how. Lisa stepped forward. May I take a look? Several students turned to stare at her. But you're just a human, one of them said. If our advanced methods can't help him, what could you possibly do? Lisa ignored the comment and knelt beside the patient. She couldn't touch him directly because he was made of energy, but she studied his condition carefully. She had seen similar injuries before, just not in energy beings. Professor Valkari, she said calmly, I need you to translate something for me. Ask Luminar where the pain is worst. The crystal professor looked confused, but did as she asked. The flickering patient managed to point to his chest area, where his energy was sparking most violently. Lisa nodded. He has internal damage that's causing a cascade failure. Like when one broken part breaks other parts, which break more parts. We need to stop the cascade before we can heal anything. How do we do that? Asked Krikstal. Lisa opened her medical bag and pulled out something that made all the alien students gasp in horror. It was a scalpel, a small knife used for surgery. You're going to cut him? Zelther's voice was filled with shock. Not exactly, Lisa said, but I need to interrupt the energy flow that's causing the cascade. Professor Valkari, can your crystal body interact with his energy matrix? Yes, but why would I want to disrupt it further? Because sometimes you have to break something to fix it, Lisa explained. In human surgery, we sometimes have to stop the heart to repair it. Then we start it again. We need to do the same thing here. The alien students looked at each other with fear and confusion. That's insane, whispered Aquilin. You want to make him worse? I want to save his life, Lisa said firmly. Professor, I need you to create a controlled disruption in his energy flow. Cut off the damaged section completely. Make it so the cascade can't spread to the rest of his body. But that could kill him, Professor Valkari protested. He's already dying, Lisa pointed out. Your methods aren't working. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing at all. She looked around at all the alien faces staring at her. On Earth, we perform heart surgery by stopping the heart completely. We operate on brains while the patient is awake. We remove entire organs and replace them with artificial ones. It seems brutal, but it works. Professor Valkari was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at his scanners. His energy levels are dropping rapidly. At this rate, he'll be completely dispersed in 3 minutes. Then we don't have time to argue, Lisa said. Trust me. The crystal professor took a deep breath and placed his hands on specific points around the patient. Tell me exactly what to do. Lisa began giving instructions like she was directing surgery back on Earth. Create a barrier here to isolate the damaged area. Now cut off the energy flow to this section. Good. Now we need to stabilize what's left. The alien students watched in amazement as Lisa treated the energy being like a human patient. She couldn't touch him or use her regular tools, but she understood the principles of emergency medicine. Aquilin, I need you to use your biolight to stimulate regeneration in the healthy areas, but only the healthy areas. Don't let it spread to the damaged section. Zelther, can you create a harmonic frequency that will help the energy patterns reorganize themselves? Krikstal, release healing pheromones, but gradually. We don't want to overwhelm his system. For the next 20 minutes, Lisa directed the alien students like a conductor leading an orchestra. She used their advanced abilities in ways they had never considered. Instead of trying to heal everything at once, she had them work on small sections systematically. Slowly, Lamunar's energy body began to stabilize. The wild sparking stopped. The missing sections began to regenerate. His voice became clear again. What happened? He asked weakly. You were badly injured, Professor Valkyrie explained. Doctor, Carter used human medical techniques to save your life. Lamunar looked at Lisa with gratitude. Thank you, human doctor. I feel much better now. The alien students stood in stunned silence. Zelther finally spoke, his voice filled with wonder. You made us stop the healing process to make the healing work better. Sometimes the best medicine is knowing when not to use medicine, Lisa replied. Sometimes you have to make hard choices that seem wrong, but are actually right. Aquilin's biolights flickered with confusion. But how did you know what to do? He's an energy being. You've never treated anyone like him before. Lisa smiled. Because injury is injury, no matter what form it takes. Cascade failures happen in human bodies too. When someone goes into shock, when their organs start shutting down one by one, we use the same principles. Stop the cascade, stabilize what's working, then repair what's broken. Professor Valkyrie looked at his medical scanners again. Laminar's energy matrix is completely stable now. He should make a full recovery. As they moved the patient to a recovery area, the alien students gathered around Lisa. Their attitudes had changed completely from the day before. Will you teach us more about these human techniques? Asked Krikstal. I thought you said they were primitive, Lisa reminded him with a gentle smile. Maybe primitive methods work when advanced methods fail, he admitted. Lisa packed her scalpel back into her medical bag. Tomorrow, I'll show you some other things that might surprise you. As the students left the medical bay, she could hear them talking excitedly about what they had witnessed. The human doctor, who seemed so simple, had just saved a life that their advanced technology couldn't save. Lisa looked out the window at the stars beyond the station. She had a feeling the next few weeks were going to be very interesting indeed. 3 days had passed since Lisa saved Laminar. Word about the human doctor's success had spread throughout Kepler Station. Alien medical professionals from different departments began asking questions about human techniques. Lisa was eating breakfast in the station cafeteria when Professor Valkyrie approached her table. His crystal body was flickering with distress. Dr. Carter, we need your help, he said urgently. We have a medical crisis that our best doctors cannot solve. Lisa put down her coffee cup. What kind of crisis? The Karathi students are becoming very sick. It started 3 days ago with just one student. Now 12 of them are affected, and the illness is spreading. Lisa followed Professor Valkyrie through the station corridors to the medical wing. As they walked, he explained the situation. The sick Karathi have fever, weakness, and their exoskeleton is turning strange colors. Our medical scanners show some kind of microscopic invasion, but we cannot identify what it is. They entered a large medical bay where several insect-like Karathi students lay on floating beds. Lisa could see they were very sick. Their normally shiny exoskeletons were dull and spotted with dark patches. Some of them were shaking with fever. Dr. Zixara, the head of the medical department, approached them. She was a tall, elegant being with 6 arms and silver skin that reflected light like a mirror. "Human doctor," she said in a voice that sounded like musical chimes. "We have tried everything. Harmonic healing, cellular regeneration, energy cleansing, bioluminescent therapy. Nothing works. The infection continues to spread." Lisa looked around the medical bay. Alien doctors were using devices that glowed and hummed with advanced technology. She saw machines that could reshape living tissue and computers that could analyze billions of microscopic organisms in seconds. "Have you identified what's causing the infection?" Lisa asked. "Our scanners detect microscopic organisms, but they are unlike anything in our medical databases. They resist all our standard treatments." Lisa approached one of the 6 students. It was Krickstow, the same student who had questioned her methods in class. He looked up at her with large compound eyes. "Human doctor," he said weakly, "I do not feel well. My body burns with heat, and I cannot eat." Lisa pulled out her simple thermometer and checked his temperature. "You have a high fever. May I look at your exoskeleton more closely?" She examined the dark patches on his shell. They looked familiar, like something she had seen many times in human patients back on Earth. "Dr. Zixara, may I use your laboratory?" Lisa asked. "Of course, but what do you need it for?" "I want to grow some of these microscopic organisms so I can see them better." The alien doctors looked confused. "Grow them? Why would you want to make more of the infection?" "So I can find out exactly what they are and how to kill them." Lisa spent the next 4 hours in the laboratory, using basic techniques that human doctors had used for over a century. She took samples from the 6 students and grew the bacteria in simple dishes. Then she looked at them under a microscope. What she saw made her smile. "I know exactly what this is." She called Professor Velkari and Dr. Zixara to the laboratory. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the microscope. Dr. Zixara peered through the eyepiece. "They look like small rods with flagella, but our computers cannot identify them." "That's because you're looking for something complicated," Lisa explained. "This is just a common bacterial infection. On Earth, we call it Streptococcus. It's been making people sick for thousands of years. But our energy treatments should destroy any bacterial invasion," Dr. Zixara protested. "Not if the bacteria are hiding inside the exoskeleton where your energy can't reach them. They're probably living in the layers between the outer shell and the inner tissue." Lisa went to her medical bag and pulled out a small bottle of white pills. The alien doctors stared at it with suspicion. "What is that?" Professor Velkari asked. "Penicillin. It's a medicine that kills bacteria." Double quotes. Dr. Zixara's silver skin darkened with alarm. "You want to give poison to our students?" "It's not poison to them. It's only poison to the bacteria." Lisa held up the bottle and explained. "A long time ago, a human scientist noticed that a certain type of mold could kill bacteria. We learned how to make medicine from that mold. Now we use it to cure infections that would otherwise kill people." "But you want to put a toxin inside their bodies," Dr. Zixara said with horror. "I want to put something inside their bodies that will kill the infection," Lisa corrected. "On Earth, we use controlled toxins all the time. Chemotherapy uses poison to kill cancer cells. Some heart medicines are made from deadly plants. The difference between medicine and poison is often just the amount you use." The alien doctors looked at each other with uncertainty. The idea of deliberately introducing toxins into a patient's body went against everything they believed about healing. "This is madness," whispered one of the other doctors. Krickstow, who had been listening from his bed, spoke up weakly. "If the human doctor thinks it will help, I am willing to try." "But the risk," Dr. Zixara protested. "What risk?" Lisa asked. These students are already dying. Your advanced treatments aren't working. This medicine has been tested on billions of humans over many decades. I know the correct dosage for different body types. She looked at the sick Karathi students. The bacteria will kill them if we do nothing. At least give me a chance to save them. After much discussion, Dr. Zixara agreed to let Lisa treat one patient as a test. She carefully calculated the right dose of penicillin for Krikstal's body weight and gave him the first pill. The alien doctors watched nervously as Lisa checked on him every hour. After 6 hours, his fever began to drop. After 12 hours, the dark patches on his exoskeleton started to fade. After 24 hours, he was sitting up and asking for food. "How do you feel?" Lisa asked him. "Much better," Krikstal replied, his mandibles clicking with happiness. "The burning sensation is gone, and I have my strength back." Dr. Zixara ran every medical scan she could think of. The bacterial count in his system has dropped by 90%. His body chemistry is returning to normal. "I don't understand how this simple pill worked when our advanced treatments failed." "Because sometimes the old ways are the best ways," Lisa said. "Humans have been fighting bacterial infections for thousands of years. We learned what works and what doesn't through trial and error." Within 2 days, all 12 sick Karathi students had received penicillin treatment. All of them recovered completely. The infection that had stumped the galaxy's most advanced medical technology was cured by a simple pill that humans had been using for over a century. Zelther, the crystal student, approached Lisa after the last patient was discharged. "Human doctor, I must ask you something. How did you know that poison could be medicine?" Lisa smiled. "Because humans learned a long time ago that nature is full of things that can both hurt and heal. The same plant that can kill you in large amounts might cure you in small amounts. We learn to use everything as a tool, even dangerous things." "But how do you know how much is safe?" asked Aquilin. "Practice," Lisa replied. "Lots and lots of practice, and careful testing. And sometimes, unfortunately, making mistakes and learning from them." Dr. Zixara approached with her 6 arms carrying various medical instruments. "Dr. Carter, would you be willing to teach us more about these bacterial infections? And about using controlled toxins as medicine?" "Of course," Lisa said. "But first, let me ask you something. When you see a problem that your advanced technology can't solve, what do you do?" The alien doctors looked at each other. "We try different advanced technologies," Dr. Zixara admitted. "Maybe that's the problem," Lisa suggested. "Sometimes the answer isn't more complexity. Sometimes it's going back to basics. Sometimes the best solution is the simplest one." As the alien medical staff began asking more questions about human pharmaceutical techniques, Lisa realized she was teaching them something more important than just medicine. She was teaching them a completely different way of thinking about problems. The students who had once called her methods primitive were now eager to learn everything she could teach them. They were beginning to understand that effective medicine didn't always require the most advanced technology. Sometimes it just required the willingness to try something different. 2 weeks had passed since Lisa cured the bacterial infection. The alien students now looked at her with respect instead of doubt. But Lisa was about to face her biggest challenge yet. She was preparing for her morning class when Professor Valkari rushed into the room. His crystal body was flashing with urgent patterns of light. "Dr. Carter, we have another crisis. Several of our students are suffering from mental distress. 3 Zephyrians, 2 Velthans, and 1 Nexari have collapsed from what we believe is academic stress syndrome." Lisa followed him to a quiet section of the medical bay. 6 alien students sat in individual chambers filled with soft, glowing energy. Each chamber was designed to calm their specific species' nervous system. "What treatments are you using?" Lisa asked. Dr. Zixara appeared beside them, her silver skin reflecting the chamber lights. "We are using harmonic brain wave adjustment for the Zephyrians. The Velthans are receiving neural bioluminescent therapy. For the next RA student, we are performing direct energy matrix realignment." Lisa looked at the students in the chambers. They seemed calm, but their eyes looked empty and distant. "How long have they been receiving these treatments?" 4 days, Dr. Zixara replied. "Their brain chemistry has been stabilized, but they show no improvement in motivation or emotional response." One of the affected students was Zelther, the crystal being who had become one of Lisa's most eager students. He sat motionless in his healing chamber, his usually bright body dim and lifeless. "May I speak with them?" Lisa asked. "That would not be advisable," Dr. Zixara said. "Verbal interaction might disrupt the neural stabilization process," Lisa frowned. "But how do you know what's wrong with them if you don't talk to them?" "Our brain scanners show imbalanced neural chemistry. We correct the imbalance with energy." "Treatments. What if the imbalance isn't the cause? What if it's the symptom?" The alien doctors looked confused. Professor Valkari's light patterns shifted to show uncertainty. "What do you mean?" "On Earth, we learned that mental health problems aren't just chemical imbalances in the brain. They're often caused by life experiences, stress, fear, sadness, or feeling overwhelmed." Dr. Zixara's 6 arms moved in. What Lisa had learned was a gesture of disbelief. "But we can measure brain chemistry precisely. We can see exactly which chemicals are wrong and correct them." "But that doesn't fix the reason why the chemicals are wrong in the first place," Lisa explained. "It's like treating a fever without finding out what's causing the infection." Lisa approached Zelther's chamber. "May I please turn off the treatment for just a few minutes? I want to try something." After much hesitation, Dr. Zixara deactivated the harmonic therapy. Zelther's crystal body flickered back to life, but he still looked very sad. "Hello, Zelther," Lisa said gently. "How are you feeling?" "I feel like a failure," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I cannot learn fast enough. I cannot remember everything you teach us. The other students are smarter than me." Lisa pulled up a chair and sat beside his chamber. "Tell me more about that. When did you start feeling this way?" "Since the infection." "Crisis," Zelther said. "I watched you save those students with simple medicine while our advanced treatments failed. I realized how much I don't know. I started studying all day and all night, trying to learn everything about human medicine." "And how much sleep have you been getting?" "Sleep? I have not slept in 6 days. There is too much to learn." Lisa turned to the alien doctors. "There's your problem. He's exhausted and overwhelmed. No amount of brain chemistry adjustment will fix that." She looked back at Zelther. "You know what I think? I think you're one of the smartest students I've ever taught. You ask good questions, you learn quickly, and you genuinely care about helping patients." Zelther's crystal body brightened slightly. "But I made mistakes during the infection crisis." "Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn." "Do you think I knew everything when I first became a doctor? Did you not?" Lisa laughed. "I made so many mistakes in medical school that my professors wondered if I should switch to a different career. I once tried to take someone's blood pressure on their ankle. Because I was so nervous, I forgot where the arm was." For the first time in days, Zelther made a sound that was like crystal laughter. "You did that? I did? And you know what my professor told me? He said making mistakes means you're trying to learn. The only students who never make mistakes are the ones who never try anything new." Lisa spent the next hour just talking with Zelther. She asked him about his fears, his hopes, and what he wanted to accomplish as a doctor. She listened to his worries about not being good enough, and his excitement about learning new things. The alien doctors watched with fascination. As Zelther's mood improved dramatically, his crystal body became brighter and more animated. He started, asking questions again and showing interest in his surroundings. "How did you do that?" Dr. Zixara asked. "His neural chemistry is still imbalanced, but his behavior has completely changed. Because I treated the cause, not just the symptoms," Lisa explained. "He wasn't sick. He was scared and tired and overwhelmed. He needed someone to listen to him and help him understand that his feelings were normal." Lisa moved to the next student, Aquilin, the aquatic Velphin. She had been receiving bioluminescent neural therapy, but she still looked miserable. "Hello, Aquilin. Can you tell me what's been bothering you?" "I miss my family," Aquilin said, her biolights flickering weakly. "This is my first time away from my home world. Everything here is so different. I feel lost and alone." Lisa nodded with understanding. "That's called homesickness. It's very common among students who study far from home. There's nothing wrong with your brain chemistry. You're having a normal emotional response to being in a new place." She spent time with each affected student, learning about their individual problems. One was worried about disappointing his parents. Another was afraid of the upcoming final exams. The Nexari student felt pressure to be perfect because his species was known for their intelligence. Instead of using machines and energy treatments, Lisa simply talked with each student. She listened to their concerns, validated their feelings, and helped them develop strategies for dealing with stress. "On Earth, we call this talk therapy or counseling," she explained to the gathered alien doctors. "Sometimes the best medicine is just having someone listen to you and help you understand that you're not alone." Dr. Zixara was amazed. "But this requires no technology at all. How can talking cure mental illness?" "Because mental health isn't just about brain chemistry," Lisa said. "It's about how we think, how we feel, and how we deal with life's challenges. You can't fix someone's thoughts and feelings with machines. You have to help them learn to understand and manage their emotions." Over the next few days, Lisa introduced the alien medical staff to human concepts of mental health care. She taught them about cognitive behavioral therapy, stress management, and the importance of emotional support. Humans developed these techniques because we face many dangers and stresses on Earth, she explained. "We learned that mental strength is just as important as physical strength." The alien students who had received Lisa's talk therapy recovered quickly. They returned to their studies with renewed confidence and better coping strategies. More importantly, they had learned that asking for help was a sign of strength, not weakness. Professor Velkari approached Lisa after her last counseling session. "Dr. Carter, what you have shown us challenges everything we thought we knew about mental health." "Treatment. How so?" "We always believed that fixing the brain chemistry would fix the mental problems. But you have shown us that the chemistry is often just a result of the problems, not the cause." Lisa smiled. "The mind and body are connected. You can't treat one without considering the other. Sometimes the best cure for depression is helping someone solve the problems that are making them depressed." As word spread about Lisa's success with mental health treatment, more alien medical professionals came to observe her methods. They were shocked by the simplicity and effectiveness of just listening to patients and helping them work through their problems. "You heal minds just by talking?" asked a visiting doctor from another species. "Talking is just the beginning," Lisa replied. "The real healing happens when patients learn to understand themselves and develop the tools they need to handle life's challenges." The alien students now saw Lisa not just as someone who could perform physical healing, but as someone who understood the connection between mind and body. They began to realize that human medicine wasn't primitive at all. It was actually more advanced than they had ever imagined, because it treated the whole person, not just the symptoms. Lisa had been at Kepler Station for 3 weeks when the worst crisis yet struck the medical academy. She was reviewing patient notes in her small office when emergency alarms began blaring throughout the station. This time, the alarms didn't stop after a few minutes. They continued wailing as red lights flashed in every corridor. Professor Valkyrie burst into her office, his crystal body blazing with panic. "Dr. Carter, we need you immediately. We have a station-wide medical emergency." Lisa grabbed her medical bag and followed him to the main medical center. What she saw there shocked her. Dozens of beings from different species were being brought in on floating stretchers. Humans, Zephyrians, Velthans, Karathi, Nexari, and several other species she didn't recognize. Dr. Zixara was coordinating the response with her 6 arms, moving frantically between different control panels. "The symptoms are appearing in all species simultaneously," she reported. "Respiratory distress, neurological dysfunction, cellular breakdown. Our scanners cannot identify any common pathogen." Lisa looked around at the chaos. Every advanced medical device on the station was being used. Energy healing chambers glowed at maximum power. Harmonic therapy systems filled the air with complex sounds. Bioluminescent treatment arrays flashed in rapid patterns. But despite all the advanced technology, patients kept getting worse. "How many are affected?" Lisa asked. "Over 200 so far," Professor Valkyrie replied. "And the number is growing every hour. We've tried every treatment protocol we know." Lisa moved between the patients, observing their symptoms carefully. Something about this didn't seem like a disease. The symptoms were too varied, affecting different species in different ways, but all starting at roughly the same time. "Professor Valkyrie, when did this start?" "About 6 hours ago. The first cases appeared in Section 12 and spread throughout the station. All at once or gradually?" "All at once. Within 30 minutes, we had 50 cases from every part of the station." Lisa frowned. "That's not how infections spread. Diseases move from person to person over time. This sounds like exposure to something in the environment." Double quotes. Dr. Zixara overheard her. "Impossible. Our environmental scanners show nothing harmful in the air or water systems." "What about something your scanners weren't designed to detect?" Lisa pulled out her simple thermometer and began taking temperatures. She checked blood pressure with her manual cuff. She listened to hearts and lungs with her basic stethoscope. The alien doctors watched her use her primitive tools while their advanced computers analyzed billions of data points per second. "Dr. Carter," said Zelther, who was helping coordinate, "patient care. Surely your simple instruments cannot detect what our advanced scanners miss." "Sometimes simple instruments detect different things," Lisa replied. "Your scanners look for known problems. My tools look for basic signs of what's wrong." After examining dozens of patients, Lisa noticed a pattern. "These aren't disease symptoms," she announced. "These are poisoning symptoms." "Poisoning?" Dr. Zixara's silver skin darkened with concern. "But our environmental systems show no toxins." "What if the poison isn't in the environment now?" "What if it was released earlier and has already been absorbed?" Lisa began asking patients detailed questions about their activities over the past day. Where had they been? What had they eaten? What had they touched? It was Aquilin who provided the key information. "I was in the new recreation area yesterday," she said weakly. "The one they just finished building in Section 12. "What's in this recreation area?" Lisa asked. "New energy relaxation pools. They use the latest in bioharmonic therapy. All species can use them safely." Lisa felt a chill of recognition. Who certified that all species could use them safely? Professor Valkyrie checked his data pad. "The manufacturer assured us their energy frequencies were harmless to all known biological forms. But did anyone actually test them on every species?" Room fell silent. Lisa could see the realization dawning on the alien doctors' faces. "We need to get to that recreation area immediately," Lisa said. They rushed through the station corridors to Section 12. The recreation area was beautiful, with pools of glowing energy that shifted through different colors and frequencies. Signs proclaimed it was safe for all galactic species. Lisa pulled out a simple device from her medical bag that made the alien doctors stare. It was a basic radiation detector, something human doctors had used for over a century. The device immediately began clicking rapidly. "There's your problem," Lisa said. "These pools are emitting radiation that your species don't recognize as harmful because you've never encountered it before. But every species reacts to radiation differently." Dr. Zixara quickly scanned the area with her advanced equipment. "Our sensors do detect unusual energy emissions, but they're within normal parameters for recreational devices." "Normal for whom?" Lisa asked. "Your scanners are calibrated for known energy types. This might be something new, or something so old that you've forgotten it could be dangerous." Working together, they shut down the energy pools and began evacuating anyone who had used them. Lisa started treating the radiation exposure using methods that seemed impossibly basic to the alien doctors. "We need to flush the radiation from their systems," she explained. "Lots of fluids, medications to help their bodies process the toxins, and time. But surely we can use energy treatments to extract the radiation directly," suggested Zelther. "No," Lisa said firmly. "More energy exposure might make things worse. Sometimes the best treatment is the gentlest treatment." Over the next 12 hours, Lisa worked with teams of alien doctors to treat hundreds of patients using simple, basic medical care. Fluids, rest, medications to support the body's natural healing processes. It worked. Patients who had been dying began to recover. The mysterious epidemic was stopped. "How did you know to look for environmental poisoning?" asked Dr. Zixara as they finished treating the last patient. "Because on Earth, we've learned to suspect the environment when lots of people get sick at the same time," Lisa explained. "We've had problems with contaminated water, toxic chemicals, radioactive materials. We learned to think like detectives, not just doctors." Professor Valkari's crystal body glowed with understanding. "You didn't just treat the symptoms. You found the cause." "That's what we call investigative medicine," Lisa said. "Sometimes solving a medical problem means looking beyond the patient to find what's making them sick." As news of the successful treatment spread throughout the station, something remarkable happened. Alien medical professionals from across the galaxy began requesting information about human medical techniques. The final graduation ceremony was held 1 week later. Lisa stood before hundreds of alien medical students and professionals who had come to hear her speak. "When I first arrived here," she began, "many of you thought human medicine was primitive because we use simple tools and basic techniques. But over these past weeks, we've learned something important together." She looked out at the audience, seeing faces from dozens of different worlds and species. "Advanced technology is wonderful, but it's not always the answer. Sometimes the best medicine is the simplest medicine. Sometimes healing means listening instead of scanning. Sometimes curing disease means looking at the whole environment, not just the patient." Zelther stood up from the audience. "Dr. Carter, you have taught us that true medical wisdom isn't about having the most advanced tools. It's about understanding life itself." Aquilin's biolights flashed in agreement. "You showed us that healing comes from caring for the whole person, not just fixing broken hearts." Krickstall clicked his mandibles respectfully. "You proved that simple solutions often work when complex solutions fail." As Lisa prepared to return to Earth, she was approached by representatives from medical schools throughout the galaxy. They wanted to establish permanent human medical exchange programs. They wanted their doctors to learn human techniques. "Dr. Carter," said the head of the Galactic Medical Council, Would you consider staying to help us create a new medical curriculum that combines the best of all our healing traditions? Lisa smiled. I need to return to Earth, but I'll send other human doctors to continue this work. What we've started here is just the beginning. She looked around at all the alien faces that had become so familiar to her. You've taught me as much as I've taught you. I've learned that good medicine is universal, regardless of which world it comes from. As her transport ship prepared to leave Kepler Station, Lisa received one final surprise. Every alien student she had taught came to see her off. They had prepared a gift, a medical scanner that combined alien technology with human diagnostic principles. Now you can detect both energy imbalances and basic vital signs, Zelther explained. The best of both our medical traditions. Lisa carefully packed the device in her bag next to her simple human tools. As the ship pulled away from the station, she looked back at the place where she had learned that the most advanced medicine of all was the wisdom to know when to use simple solutions. The galaxy's understanding of medicine would never be the same, and neither would Lisa's understanding of what it truly meant to heal.